Hello. So today I'm going to be continuing to go through all of the stock devices in Bitwig. We're going to be going with the arpeggiator today, which is an arpeggiator. We're going to go through all the controls. I'm going to show you a few different uses for it. And yeah, pretty much. So first of all, what is the arpeggiator? It's a note effect, which means that you place it either on front of an instrument or you place it in the note effects here, and it will take whatever notes you're feeding to it and change them. In this case, arpeggiate them. So there's a few different modes here. We'll start here and we'll go through all the controls, and then I'll show you a few different uses for it, including drum sequencing, some kind of weird modulation stuff that you can do with it. And that'll be about it. So first of all, let me just take you through the modes here. So the first mode here is chords. We're going to skip that one for now, and we're going to go to up. So up is just going to take the notes and just run them up over and over again. So you can see here, just up, 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 up. Then the next one, we're going to go through these pretty quick because most of them are fairly self-explanatory. Next one is down. So that's what we're going to go down, down, down. So that's just down, 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 down. Then you've got up, down, which is just up and then down. Then you've got up, down 2, which is up and then down, but it plays the top and bottom notes 2 times. Okay. Then you have got random, which just plays randomly through. Let me just show you the MIDI I'm using here. That will probably be helpful. So I'm just using chords. So I've just got these chords programmed in here. Actually, I've taken them from the clip library. So yeah, random is just going to go through those chords and play notes at random from them. So let's have a look at that. So it's just randomly playing through whatever notes I've got there. By the way, I've just got a pitch in here, and I'm putting it through the oscilloscope so you can see the way that the pitches are moving. So that's random. Then we've got, let me see, next is flow, which plays the notes in the same order that they're played. So if you play one note slightly before the other one, it will play that first and then continue the sequence as such. So the next one we've got here is up and in. So that's going from the lowest note to the highest note and repeating it inwards. So we'll have a look at that in the oscilloscope now. So you can see it's sort of traveling inwards. Then we've got down and in, which is highest to lowest instead of lowest to highest. And it's the same idea, so it's traveling inwards. So similar idea there. Blossom up is starting from the center and spiraling upwards. So starting from the center of the chord and moving in an upwards direction. So we'll have a look at that here. So it's kind of got a widening effect in terms of pitch as time goes on. Then blossom down starts from the center and it's going in a downward direction. So it's starting high and going down. So the next one we've got here is low and up. Low starts with a low pedal note, and then the alternating note is arpeggiating upwards. So let's have a look at that. Then low and down is the same thing. Low pedal note, but we're arpeggiating downwards. So we're starting on the highest note and we're moving downwards. Then these last two are the exact same thing. But they have a high pedal note instead of a low pedal note. So that's just the inverse again. So the next control we've got here is the octave. So the octave just says how many octaves am I going to play in this arpeggio pattern. So let's set it to up down or something like that. Let's set it to that. Let's set it to 1 octave. So it's just playing through the sequence once in 1 octave. There's 2 and 3 and so forth. Goes up to 4. Now would be a good time to talk about one of the things that's in the inspector. So to bring up the inspector, you've got it here at the side. So let's say that's closed down. You just hit this I, and then you click on the arpeggiator, and that will give you the additional menu for the arpeggiator. So there's an octave handling section here. So the octave handling here basically changes the way in which these octaves are played. So the default is to kind of move up and then go back down and then move up again. So let's have a look at that. So then the other mode here is thin. So thin is going to do the same thing where it plays upwards, but it's not going to go back down again. So we'll just visualize that here. And then the last mode here is 1 by 1, where it plays the full pattern. Okay, so it plays the full pattern in each octave. So we'll just have a look at that. Perfect. While I'm in the inspector here, just before I go back to the other parts of the arpeggiator, let me just show you a couple of the other things. So pressure to velocity here is the first one. What this will do is it will take, if you've got an MP controller and you are applying pressure polyphonically, it will convert that to velocity so that the arpeggiator can deal with it basically. So overlapping notes here, this will allow more than one note to play at once. If you've got a gate length or a note length that's longer than the arpeggiation pattern that it fits in, if you turn this off, the notes will choke each other. So as soon as one note starts, it'll end the other one. Trigger immediately is going to start the pattern the instant that you hit a key, instead of waiting for basically this note to end. Say you've got a quarter note and you're an eighth note through it. If you hit trigger immediately, it's just going to trigger again. But if you've got it turned off, then it's going to wait for this quarter note to end, and then you're going to reset with the new note. So release immediately is a similar thing. So basically, if you say you've got a quarter note set here and you're an eighth note through it and you release the key, it will release immediately if this is turned on. But if it's turned off, it will wait for this gate length to end. So it'll wait for this step to end, and then it will release the note. So the rest of the stuff we have here is pretty simple. Retrigger. This is just going to set whether the sequence restarts when you feed a new note to the arpeggiator. If you don't, it'll just continue running as it's been running. So this set rate in notes here, this allows you to set it in like a quarter or an eighth or whatever. If you turn this off, then you're going to be setting it in milliseconds. So then you've got your rate here, so it's eighth, quarter, half, whatever you want to set it to, all the way up to 1/64th. Then you've got controls here for whether that's a regular standard note, dotted, or triplets. So this button here just controls whether or not you're using the global shuffle, which is controlled up here in the play menu. And if it's turned off, we'll just ignore it. So then you've got your step length here, so you can go, the default is 8 steps, but you can set it up to be whatever you want, from 1 to 16 steps. You can use that to set up polyrhythms and stuff like that. Then you've got pitch here, so this will take whatever note you're given and it will transpose it by the pitch you set here, up 2 octaves up and 2 octaves down. Then you got skip step here basically. So skip step will just basically skip whatever this pitch is and move on to the next one. So then you've got velocity. This basically just sets the velocity of the note. And you can set this to 100%, or you can set it all the way down to 0%. And then this basically will be a percentage of the percentage you've set here. Then you've got gate length. Gate length is the length of the note that's being sent out. So if I take the... So I'll just make the note here a bit longer so you can hear what the gate length is doing. shorter you've got this set, the shorter the note's going to be. And again, you can set a percentage over here, and this is relative to that percentage. Okay, so that's all of the controls for the arpeggiator. So a couple of ways of using it. First of all, the last mode that I didn't go through is this chord mode. If you're playing chords, this chord mode will just play those chords in the sequence. So it's playing every note in the sequence here. Now you can control things like velocity per step. So you can see here in this polymer, I've got the velocity set to the filter cutoff and the noise and some things in the ADSR. I've got it set to the filter over here and the reverb and the delay. So this velocity basically per step is automating some of the stuff to make it more interesting. You can hear if we turn off this modulator. It's just a kind of basic sound, then we turn it on. So yeah, that's just a way you can use velocity to modulate things while you're arpeggiating them. The next thing I've got here is just showing you how you can set up different kind of rhythms and stuff like that. So you can pull the gate length down to 0 and that will skip that step, so everything that's set to 0 here isn't going to play. So we can then edit those to kind of make different patterns in here. And of course we can still use that velocity value to change things as well. So I've got it changing different stuff on the effects over here. And the last thing I wanted to show you with the arpeggiator in terms of just basic arpeggiation is you can also put them in a note effects layer and layer them on top of each other, so you get like polyphonic arpeggios. So I've just got 3 layered together here. So let me turn these off so you can hear the individual ones. So this one's just playing a few notes. And this regular one here is just doing a regular arpeggio. And this last one here is playing the bass, so. So that's just an example of how you can do polyphonic arpeggios. One other thing that you can do with the arpeggiator, just within its own controls, is you can use it to make sequences. So this is just one static note, and I'm changing the pitches here, and I've got the gate lengths changed. So you can use that to do things like skip steps again. And that's where some of these skip patterns come in, so let's skip this. One other thing you can use it to do is to trigger an instrument selector. So I've just got an instrument selector here with 4 different presets that I've made, and I'm just using the arpeggiator just to basically move through the notes, and then each new note is giving me a different instrument here, so it's just a different way you can make your arpeggio sound more interesting. Obviously you can change these up as well. And you can also change the mode of the instrument selector to make it sound a bit different. So we could move this to, say, random. we have got it in a sequence here where we're just going down, we could say add different stuff in here to create a kind of polyrhythm. So now I've got 5 instead of 4, so it'll be kind of uneven. And let's just change a few things in here. Let's add another phase 4 just up here somewhere. So now I've got 7 presets in here, and it's just doing a regular 1/8 pattern. So we're going to have a sort of polyrhythm type of thing happening. And of course you can put that as random or whatever it's on. So I just wanted to have a quick look as well at some of the ways that you can use this to sequence drum patterns and stuff like that. So I've got a group here with just a kind of simple drum pattern in here. So obviously you can use it to make fills and stuff like that. So here I've got just a kind of snare sound, and it's pitching up as it's going in, and I've drawn a little pattern in here like I showed you with the gate. So I've just made a little drum sequence here, just using the arpeggiator on each tracks, just to show you, I suppose, a few little tricks you can do with it. So this is the sequence. So I've just got a regular kick pattern going here. Then I've got my hi-hat sound here set to 30-second note triplets. And I've got a pattern drawn in here with the gate. So let's solo that. Then I've got this steps modulator here, and the steps modulator is turning on these extra steps to create like a sort of ratchet effect. So I'll put that on a couple more times. And of course on stuff like hats, you might want to use the velocity here to control different parameters on your hi-hat. So let's use it to just do some weird stuff here. It's probably going to sound bad, but let's pull the regular velocity sensitivity down so we're just getting the effect. So now we've got an effect that's kind of modulating over time here with the velocity. So on this one here, instead of using 16 steps like the others, I've used 12. So you're getting kind of a polyrhythm here where they're playing at different times. So then finally I've got a shaker here, which is moving between 2 different patterns using the step mod. So with this one, I've got a control on these 2 bars to move them up. And then with this one, I have it controlling all 4. So we get a different pattern each time it switches. And these steps are set to a bar. So each one's a bar each. So it would play a bar of this one, then it would play a bar of this one. So I'll just show you that now. And we could even add another one in here, say, let's add another steps here. And let's use this one as like a ratchet. So let's set, I don't know, 8 steps here. And then let's have this one feed into all of these. And then let's say on this step here, we'll have like a ratchet. So yeah, that's a cool way of kind of modulating things up and getting different patterns going, maybe in a way that you wouldn't if you're just drawing in the notes. Let's get rid of that for now. And then on this one here, on this tom, I've got a similar idea, but I'm also modulating the pitch. So when it goes over to this other pattern here, it's modulating the pitch down. So and then finally here, I've just got a snare. So that's just how simple it can be. You can just have one there, and maybe we could add in like a ghost note here. And pull the velocity down. Let's pull the velocity way down on those actually. So yeah, and then this is the whole sequence together. Pull out those ghost notes, maybe add them in somewhere else. So yeah, that's just a few ideas for different ways that you can use the arpeggiator. I will be going over all the other devices and all the other note effects, and I'll probably be talking about sort of how they can be joined up with the arpeggiator to make them all more interesting. Hopefully you learned something from that. I will be covering probably the vocoder next, I think, so look forward to that. Thank you.